Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Oldham County Fiscal Court. I'm David Vogel, Judge Executive, and we're very happy to have you here today. Today's the third day of December, our first meeting of the last month of the year. We'll have another meeting in 2 weeks. Ask you all, there's not too many people here today, but those of you who are present, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you have a cell phone, please turn it to off or vibrate. And before we begin today's meeting, I accept a motion to have Tina Schaaf serve as our fiscal court clerk today.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Magistrate Likens.
Here.
Magistrate Tice.
Here.
Magistrate Harrison. Here. Magistrate Greenwell.
Here.
Magistrate Hounds.
Here.
Magistrate Hawkins.
Here.
Magistrate Dye.
Here.
Magistrate Logston.
Here.
Judge Vogel.
Here. Having all members of the fiscal court present, this meeting is now in session. Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
Second.
Are there any changes?
Yes, sir, Judge. I'd like to remove the, from the Public Safety Committee, the simulcast fire and EMS paging system we're going to talk about at the next court meeting.
All right. Anything else? All right, hearing nothing. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll have Tina Schaaf read our minutes from the November 19th meeting.
November 19th, 2019, the Oldham County Fiscal Court convened at a regular meeting at 2 p.m. with Judge Executive David Vogel, County Attorney John Carter, and the following magistrates in attendance: Brent Likens, Wayne Tice, Albert Harrison, Steve Greenwell, Chris Hounds, Stephanie Hawkins, Bob Dye, and Michael Logston. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to approve the agenda as submitted, adding vehicle donation under committee recommendations. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Logston and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the meeting minutes from November 5th, 2019. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the meeting minutes from November 8th, 2019. Motion carried unanimously. For public comment, none. Under the county administration for payables, motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Tice to approve the payables as submitted, removing one item, $101.80 invoice to Cassidy Insurance. In addition, the treasurer was asked to investigate warranty coverage before paying the $646.19 invoice from General Parts relating to kitchen equipment at the jail. Motion carried unanimously. For community business, the second reading and public hearing for the budget amendment for fiscal year 1920. Treasurer Melissa Horn presented for second reading, public hearing, proposed ordinance number 1922014, amending the existing Oldham County budget for fiscal year 2019-20 to include unbudgeted receipts from prior year surplus, increasing the receipts of police funds by $19,538.50 and increasing expenditure accounts by $19,538.50. And the floor was open for public comment. There being no public comment, the public hearing was closed. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to adopt ordinance number 1922014, amending the existing Oldham County budget for fiscal year 1920 to include unbudgeted receipts from prior year surplus, increasing the receipts of police funds by $19,538.50 and increasing expenditure accounts by $19,538.50 as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. For contracts, agreements, and resolutions, the lease renewal, state HVAC inspector office space. Motion made by Magistrate Likens and seconded by Magistrate Logston to authorize the Judge Executive to sign the office lease renewal agreement for the state HVAC inspector's cubicle space and Planning and Development's office as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Demand Star Service Agreement. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Dye to authorize the Judge Executive to sign the agreement with Demand Star relating to services to supplement the county's current bidding process as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. The Aquatic Center repairs, bid award, and contract agreement. Motion made by Magistrate Hawkins and seconded by Magistrate Likens to award the Aquatic Center repairs project to Phoenix Pools for $41,344 and authorize the judge executive to sign the contract agreement as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. The Kentucky Emergency Management 2019 EMA Program Funds. Motion made by Magistrate Harrison and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to authorize the judge executive to sign the contract agreement with Kentucky Division of Emergency Management relating to 2019 EMA program funds and the non-supplanting certification as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. The resolution for the Kentucky Division of Water non-point source grant. Motion made by Magistrate Hawkins and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to authorize the judge executive to sign resolution number 01111919 relating to the Kentucky Division of Water 2020 non-point source implementation grant for Curry's Fork watershed as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. For committee reports and recommendations, Road Committee, the bond releases. Motion made by Magistrate Logston and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell upon recommendation of the county engineer to release the $136,220.50 erosion control bond relating to Christian Brothers Automotive in Crestwood as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Harrison and seconded by Magistrate Tice upon recommendation of the county engineer to release the $19,000 erosion control bond relating to Grand Oaks, Section 2 as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Likens and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell upon recommendation of the county engineer to release the $64,240 erosion control bond relating to the reserves of Deerfield, Section 1 as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Harrison and seconded by Magistrate Hounds upon recommendation of the county engineer to release the $8,400 erosion control bond relating to High Grove Section 3 as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Tice upon recommendation of the county engineer to release the $37,000 performance bond relating to reserves of Deerfield Section 1 as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Logston to accept the following roads into the county road system as submitted. Reserves of Deerfields Boulevard, Deerfields Trace, Ridge Court, Tip Top Court. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Harrison and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell upon recommendation of the county engineer to release the $7,400 performance bond relating to High Grove Section 3 as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to accept Windsor Way into the county road system as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Recommendation to donate the van declared surplus to Ballardsville Fire. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Logston to donate the 1999 Ford E350 van declared surplus at the November 5th fiscal court meeting to Ballardsville Fire for Oldham County Fire Marshal's Office. Motion carried unanimously. For personnel actions, for dispatch, motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to hire Tara Phillips as telecommunicator 1 at $15.38 an hour, effective December 2nd, as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. For the police, motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to accept the resignation of Matt Cornell, effective 11/30/2019. Motion carried unanimously. For public comment, none. And for announcements, Magistrate Dye encouraged everyone to get the flu vaccination. Magistrate Hawkins thanked Republic Service reps for attending today's meeting. Magistrate Hounds thanked Oldham County Youth Football League for showcasing Oldham County with last weekend Youth Football Bowl with over 20 teams. He stressed the importance of having working smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors in homes. Magistrate Greenwell announced Light Up LaGrange as the first weekend in December. Magistrate Harrison announced Pearl Harbor Day as December 7th, promoted participation in the 2020 census. Magistrate Likens congratulated Wayne and Linda Tice for being named the 2019 Oldham Countyans of the Year. And Magistrate Tice honored that he and his wife were selected for such a recognition. Judge Vogel announced starting tomorrow, County Police will intensify the patrol and enforcement of drivers speeding on I-71. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Helms to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried unanimously, and the meeting was adjourned at 3:05 PM.
You've heard the reading from our minutes on November 19th. Is there a motion to accept?
Second.
Any discussion?
Judge?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. The amount of the bond, the erosion control bond, at the top of the page on 199 is $136,220.50 according to this, and that just seems like a huge amount of money. And County Engineer Jim Silliman is checking into that right now to see if that's correct or not.
Well, Alyssa's saying it is.
It is correct. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Time now for public comment, the time during the meeting. If there's anyone here who would like to address the fiscal court about a community or individual issue, you're able to do so. Saying no one, I'll close public comment and go on to the first item on the agenda. Under county administration, we have the bills to be paid.
I'll make the
I'll
motion.
make the recommendation, we pay the bills.
Second.
Moved and seconded that the bills be paid. Are there any questions about anything that appears in the bills? Magistrate Harrison?
Thank you, Judge. There was a question at the last meeting over an expenditure, I believe, down at the detention center, that somebody felt should have been covered under warranty. I don't think we paid that. Did that get clarified? I don't know if we got Mike Simpson here and Melissa.
The item in question had a one-year warranty, so the warranty had expired.
Mr. Dye, we okay with that?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Right,
Thank you,
that was a warranty on, I believe, was something in the kitchen there. Kitchen. Thank you. Any other questions here about anything? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda would be to, under contract agreements and resolutions here, the Human Resources Committee has a couple of job descriptions. Magistrate Logston.
Yes, sir. As you know, we always are constantly updating our job descriptions. Before you, we have two of them. One is engineering technician, which assists engineering department in site inspections, implementing a computer aid designs and GIS applications. I asked the court if they will go ahead and approve this engineering technician job description.
Motion.
Are you making that motion?
I'm making that motion.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Are there any questions about the updated job description for the engineering, staff engineer's position? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
When opposed, motion carries.
This, the second.
One opposition, all right.
The second one in front of you is a staff engineer from the engineer's office. Their summary is assist the civil engineer in implementation of stormwater obligation, including but not limited to the KYG 20 permit, construction plan, circulation review, assist engineering department, and all site inspections. And again, I would ask that the court approve this engineering's office staff engineer, please. I can't hear him.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
I'll second it.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Logston has an ear issue. I don't want to say ear infection, don't know exactly what it is, but he's lost some hearing in his right ear there. So let's all be aware of that and try to be clear so he hears. All right, is there any discussion on the engineering position here, staff engineer, redone position? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now we have some personnel actions here. The first one has to do with road. These will be hiring new seasonal drivers. Would you want to take those, Magistrate Logson? Or, okay. We're hiring Wayne Sizemore and Brian Bridwell at $20 an hour effective today, and that's pending background and drug screening approvals.
Make that motion, Judge.
I'll second it.
Discussion?
Yeah, these are seasonal drivers for snow removal, so
Yes,
it's a
right.
flat $20. I didn't hear you say that. It's-
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, they are seasonal drivers. Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is retirement for road employee Ted Billings. That would be effective at the end of November.
Judge, I'll make that motion that we accept his retirement.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Certainly want to wish Ted well. Ted has been a good road employee, and we're sorry that he's leaving. But it's time to retire. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a new hire here in the Parks Department, Dylan Hedrick, to be a building monitor effective effective tomorrow, December 4th.
I'll make the motion. We hire Dylan Hedrick.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next one is a promotion in the county engineer's office. Derek Shade from engineering training to staff engineer. It increases his salary from $24.01 to $26.41, effective December 8th.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Magistrate Dye.
Yeah, I'm curious about this. This wasn't budgeted, correct?
No, I don't think it was.
Okay, all right, that's what I need to know.
Pardon?
That's what I need to know.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
No,
Motion carries 7-2. All right, the next item on the agenda here is board,
Forgot one.
Emergency management.
yeah, we have emergency management. Is it in my book here?
Did you not get here?
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Somebody didn't put this in my book, I'm sorry.
Sheila.
All right. Sheila is not here today, so we can't blame her.
Sure we can.
I turned the page and it wasn't there. All right. This is a change in status. Jerry Nart, Emergency Management Director, from 30 hours a week to 40 hours a week, effective 12/8/2019. That would raise him from $38,140 to $48,472.
I'll make that motion, Judge.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this? Magistrate Dye.
this is not, wasn't, I know this wasn't budgeted for the higher amount. Just want to make everybody aware that this situation here has nothing to do with Mr. Nart's performance at all. I'm concerned about that, there was an understanding during the budgetary process about the money that was be coming in from the state, and if it's going to come in, then his salary would be X. If it didn't, it would be X minus whatever it would be. And that was the understanding, but now, 6 months down the road or so, now there's a situation where the 30 hours was good enough back then, but all of a sudden that's moved into 40, and there's been no change in the job description. So I can't support this because we came, Judge, you brought the budget to the Finance Committee, and we worked it out like we always have, and it was brought out of committee with a vote of 3-0, and then it came to court, and everyone agreed to it. And now here down the road, all of a sudden, the understanding of what we were going to do wasn't what we're doing. Now, I have no problem looking at it in the next budgetary cycle, but I think that, the budget is a plan to spend. We all know that. But you just can't jump in there and open and close it, willy-nilly, especially when you had an agreement, the agreement was in place. So I can't support that. I mean, it's not anything against the job or the position. It's that, we have to be good conservators and protectors of the taxpayers' money. So that's my position, and I can't support this.
I believe, I agree with you to a point that when the budget was set up, there was an anticipation there would be additional revenue coming from the state. The state hasn't come through with that additional revenue. Nevertheless, Mr. Nart is a valuable employee. He is his job is subject to working any day of the week. Sometimes it could be 7 days a week. There are emergencies, and preparedness are not something that, preparedness is something you can anticipate. Emergencies are something that you cannot. Since that, let's say, disappointment or misunderstanding with the state, wherever it may have fallen, it didn't work out exactly. I think there are enough magistrates on the fiscal court who feel that this situation should go forward anyway at this point, and so that's why we're making the recommendation.
Or, again, I want to emphasize, it's not talking about anyone's job performance, any of that.
Right.
It's strictly the funding mechanism was in place, and they thought there was going to be 119 counties were going to apply, and 120 did, so they had to cut the pie a little thinner. And that thinner piece came to us, and now at a later date, we're expected to fulfill that, and I'm just not comfortable doing that. So,
Okay.
it's my opinion.
All right. Magistrate Hounds.
Magistrate Dye, I've made this statement before. There was a mistake that was made in the process. It would be no different than if we ordered something that we would, a dump truck that went over budget, or we needed salt, or whatever the case may be. Would we not order that? Would we not get the material that we needed to do the job? We're keeping an employee to do a job.
Well, the truck would be under contractual price, so it shouldn't come in over budget. Okay, we usually, you kind of know those things. As far as salt, we can no more control Mother Nature than we control Frankfurt.
And Frankfurt was going to potentially give us more money, and they didn't.
No, they were going to, but one other additional county decided to get into the pool, and it sliced the pie a little thinner.
That was a change by Frankfurt, not a change by Oldham
right.
County.
And it was another example of the state passing an expense down to the county. It's another unfunded mandate.
I might add, and I'll call on you just a second here, Mr. Greenwell. Might add that this, until Mr. Nart came, this was a full-time position. Prior to this, Kevin Nuss, before becoming deputy judge, occupied this position on a full-time basis and part-time dispatch director. It seemed that they all went together, but he was actually full-time EMA and part-time dispatch. So, and he had backup assistance on dispatch. Magistrate Greenwell.
Thank you, Judge. And back to what you said about Kevin, he devoted, on paper at least, 30 hours of his time to emergency management director and 10 hours of his time to dispatch director. And the job got done, it got done well. And so now we've got a dispatch director who should have taken those 10 hours away from the emergency management person. So now you've got the job at 30 hours that you had before, and I can't tell that it's getting done any worse at 30 hours whenever that's all you've got to devote to it, and you don't have to worry about dispatch. And back to Magistrate Dye's position, we all sat around the table, three of us, including Mr. Nart and yourself, and made the agreement that if we got the grant from the state, we would increase the salary. If we didn't get the grant, we wouldn't. And everybody, we didn't get up and shake hands on it, but we agreed. And so I won't be supporting this either.
Any other comments? Magistrate Harrison.
Thank you, Judge. I'm conflicted on this because I don't have, I'm a show-me person. My family came out of Missouri, and I believe in that. I'm not disputing anybody's word on this, but it'd be nice if we had a contract to look at that would really say what everybody thinks or three people think was done. The other concern I have, as you know, I've got a military background. Mr. Nort's got much more extensive background in the military than I do. This county, in my opinion, suffers at many different levels from a lack of trained leadership. We have people who've come up through the ranks. They do a great job at what they're assigned to do, but they don't really have substantive leadership training. And I guarantee you that being a retired officer from the Coast Guard, Mr. Nort's experience in leadership training probably exceeds that of anybody in this county. There's a value to that. The other part of it is, in the military, we don't know what a 30-hour week is any more than we know what a 40-hour week is. We get up in the morning and we work until the job is done. If we have to come back in at midnight, we come back in at midnight, we do it, we don't complain about it, we just think that's part of the job. So I don't know if anybody can tell us how many hours per week Mr. Nort works, how many times he's had to give up nights, weekends, holidays, and vacation time because of this job. That is not a 40-hour job. You can't punch a time clock and do his job. And I think consideration has to be made of that. I'm sure the three people involved in it initially were doing what they thought was best. Mr. Nort probably agreed to it because he thought it would be workable. But in my limited experience on this court in 11 months, I think we've amended budgets before. And if this requires an amendment to the budget, I don't understand why we cannot do that. We do it in other instances. And I think it's unfortunate that we have somebody of Mr. Nort's qualifications and experience that we're now nitpicking it to death over something that's a drop in the bucket when it looks at the overall budget. Thank you.
Magistrate Likens.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate the services that Jerry Nard renders. I think he takes the initiative to go above and beyond the expectations. Good employees are very hard to find, and I'm in favor of hiring him full-time.
Right. Any further comments?
My last comment. You know, I've heard what everybody said, and again, I want to emphasize, I'm not making this about the job that Jerry does or doesn't do. It's not about Jerry. It's about the process which we used and agreed, and I want to make sure that, the process starts getting watered down, then where are we at 6, 8, 10 months from now? I mean, you remember when me and you came here, I came here when you came on county judge, you remember when you were magistrate, when the money was pretty tight. I'm just trying to make keep the process as firm and as fair as everybody in that room thought it was. That's all I'm after. I'm just trying to make sure that everybody understands, again, everybody wants to make it about Jerry Nart and the job that he does. It's not what this is about. That is not my complaint. My complaint is we need to follow through with what we do.
All right.
That's all I'm going to say on it, and I'm not going to support it for that reason. It's got nothing to do with Jerry Nart.
Why do you keep bringing him up? You and two other people have said Mr. Nart was in the room when the agreement was made. That is a disparaging remark to Jerry Nart, and I find it offensive. I don't know if he does, but I do. You don't need to bring that up. You can talk about what the three of you agreed to do and let it go at that. But you keep interjecting personalities of people into this. That's wrong, Mr.
Well, I'm not the only person that brought it up. I said in the very beginning, this was not about the job or the position of the person holding it. I want to make sure everybody understood that. Apparently you didn't.
I understood everything you said. Judge, I have one comment on it. Why do we have so much trouble finding quality employees to fill simple jobs in this county? Why is that? Why do we have trouble finding truck drivers for the road department? Why do we
Salary.
have trouble finding dispatchers to help Mr. Keel?
Salary, I can tell you, I can answer that question.
Yes, sir.
It's a salary.
Yes.
Yeah. And I've been, and you can ask anybody in the finance committee, I push every time we can talk about it to get the lower salaries up. Am I correct in saying that, Judge?
Yes.
We need to be looking at the bottom of the ladder. Again, this is not a discussion about salaries and qualified people. It's about the process.
I think I would just add to this, there was a discussion back at one point, although, you know, let's say the thought process has migrated to the point where certain members of the Finance Committee did not, you know, agreed to how things would be at that point. The decision by the Finance Committee is not binding on the entire fiscal court. You know, we can't let it, there isn't any one committee that can require all other members of the court to go along what it says. So I would say that, you know, since that time and under these circumstances, when the disappointment from the state came through, other members of the fiscal court said, we need to go forward with this anyway. So the budget amendment thing is not that big a deal, goes on all the time. So that's just life in the circumstance. So let's have, given the fact that there was discussion on this and there was some that said they could not support it, I'll ask the clerk to. Any more? Okay.
I just have a question.
Yes,
Who are
ma'am.
the three members of the Finance Committee? Will you remind me?
They are Magistrate Dye, Magistrate Greenwell, and the Magistrate Hounds. And I'm not even saying that the discussion at that point was how this would go was unanimous within the Finance Committee.
Okay.
2 out of 3 people is a larger group, so. Magistrate Tice.
Judge, as I'm reading one thing, it's also in this, we're talking about that the status of emergency management go from a 30-hour to 40-hour week.
Correct.
Do we need not have a motion on that we're doing that before we even talk about, if you talk about only the hours required, then that satisfies no matter who fills the position. So are we saying that we now is, I think the motion should be not about, are we saying that we need a full-time emergency management position rather than a 3/4?
We have a job description as emergency management, don't we,
Yes, we do.
in our book?
Right, and I believe the motion was to increase Mr. Nart to full-time position. Am I correct on that?
Well, we haven't had the motion yet, but.
Huh? We
Who
didn't?
made the motion? I don't have a motion made.
We don't have a motion. Pardon?
I made it.
But your answer would solve my question.
Brent Likens made the motion.
Is emergency management a 40-hour week job?
Motion was made and seconded. Magistrate Likens made the motion and Magistrate Logston seconded.
Approve him 40 hours full-time.
All right, I'm going to ask the clerk to, the motion here is that Mr. Nart be moved from 30 to 40 hours a week. And as we say, in the emergency management position, which was previously considered a full-time position. Yeah, go ahead, call the roll.
Magistrate Dye? No. Magistrate Greenwell?
No.
Magistrate Likens?
Yes.
Magistrate Tice?
No.
Magistrate Harrison?
Yes.
Magistrate Hawkins?
Yes.
Magistrate Hounds?
Yes.
Magistrate Logston?
Yes.
And Judge.
All right, I'm going to abstain from this decision based on the fact that I was a participant in the earlier meeting, but the motion does carry 5-3.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
that agreement may not have been binding to you, but it was binding to me.
Well,
Judge, can I ask one question here before we go on? Could Tina and Tina may already know the answer, or Michael, let us know whether emergency management in our book now is either a 40 or a 30-hour work? Is it a full-time job or a partial job? It's full-time. It is full-time. Okay.
part-time status when Jerry came on.
Fine. Then I may change my vote. I didn't know we had it as a full-time position.
You want to back up?
It doesn't make any difference at this point.
Motion's already passed. Would clerk please note that Magistrate Greenwell left the meeting at 2:36. All right. Next item on the agenda here has to do with board appointments. First, I'd like to reappoint Valerie Shannon and David Dybel to the Oldham County Extension Board, both terms to expire December 31st, 2022.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Oh, did somebody have a question on that? No. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposition? Motion carries. All right, Oldham County Water District Board appointments, reappoint Jody Curry, attorney to the board, and Mel Milburn, engineer to the board for terms to expire January 3rd, 2024.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Jody Curry and Mel Melbourne to the Oldham County Water District Board.
Second?
All right, any discussion? All in
I have a
favor?
question.
Yes, sir.
Is this the only board that Mr. Melbourne serves on?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, now I'd like to, any public comment here? As the next public comment, anybody like to say anything?
One more board
You have
appointment.
one more.
Do I have one more?
Yes, sir.
Tourism.
Pardon me.
Ferry laws to the Tourism Commission.
All right, I flipped by it too quickly. I'd like to reappoint Barry Laws to the Oldham County Tourism Commission. Barry took the place of an individual who left the Tourism Commission, so this would be an appointment for him to serve his own term of office to January 10th, 2023.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right. Discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right. Now we're back to public comment, and is there anyone who would like to address the fiscal court at this point? Seeing none, we'll close public comment and go on to the final action here today. It was a short meeting, didn't have too much on the agenda. Magistrate Logston, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yes, Judge, I just want to talk about the Pee Wee Valley Annual Yule Log that's going on. Starts Sunday at the 8th from 5:30 to 7:30. Please come out and enjoy chili and everything. The fire department will be there, the bonfire and Main Square, and all the money donated will go to the Crusade for Children. So please come out and enjoy a Sunday evening with us.
Magistrate Dye.
Well, everybody that comes northbound on I-71, the new ramps are open. They're striped, cones are off to the side, and it's very nice.
Kidding. We didn't, no one told us here. It must have
Well,
just
you heard
happened
it.
this morning.
You got the rest of the story right here.
Okay, thank you. Magistrate Hawkins.
Nothing today, Judge. Thank you.
Magistrate Hounds.
Yes, sir. Mr. Nart, the EMA director, provides information for the Smart 911 to us on a monthly basis. And we had 30-plus people sign up from the month of November, in the month of November. The importance of Smart 911 is we're coming on the winter month season, and they do send out weather alerts. In case you're not paying attention, if we may get one of these quick snowstorms or whatever that come through. There's also traffic alerts that go on there, and one of the other items they talked about today in our public safety meeting was, if you put information in there that you have a person who will need assistance in vacating the house if there's a fire or something, you can put that information in there and they can alert first responders to the issue of the occupant inside the building may needing assistance to get out. Also, I know that Magistrate Harris is going to bring this up, but because I'm going to call you the magistrate for the census. That's going to be your new term we're going to give you, because you bring it up every time. But I want to stress a little bit of importance. I signed up for some emails to the census, and I finally spent some time this weekend reading through a bunch of them. And there's so much information that will be afforded to us once the census data is compiled, but there's also the potential to have monies left on the table that our county and other counties may not be able to take. But one of the things that does hit home is the school system, and the fact that if the children are not counted, the younger children, the newborns from ages 1 to 5, if you don't count, say, a 2-year-old, it's going to be 8 years before that person is counted again. Well, that person's already going to have been in school for a handful of years and could cause financial burden to the school systems and the county government for that matter. Yesterday was a busy day in Oldham County for emergency medical runs. There were a minimum of 4 full arrests that I know of. Please take care of yourself. Try to eat a nutritious meal every once in a while. I can say that because I don't do it every day. And we are in flu and cold season, so if you do feel like that you're getting sick, try to take care of yourself and get to the doctor. The one person I know of, they said they've been feeling bad for over a week, and I don't understand why they didn't go. I mean, there's probably issues, but the point is, take care of yourself so you don't have to see us at your time of need.
All right. Magistrate Harrison.
Thank you, Judge. I want to make one correction to Magistrate Hounds on the census count. He said from ages 1 to 5. It's actually age 0 to 5 is the smallest group, because the day you're born, you're 0 years of age. Until you get 365 days old, you're still 0. So it's from the very first day on. And it's where you spent the night on April 1st. You can be a visitor, you can be a relative just in the state, passing through or whatever. But if you spent the night here in Oldham County on April 1st, you need to be counted. And there's no downside to it. I cannot find one, and I've done research like Chris has. I cannot find a downside. There's nothing but benefits that come to the Oldham County for it. And this is not an attempt to downplay Mr. Logson's announcement about Light Up Pee Wee, but we have a major event tomorrow night on the river. We're the only ones that can have that. And it's called Light Up Westport with Santa, starting at 6:30 on the basic town square. Will be inside at the old schoolhouse also. So we invite people to come to that. Military Days, as I mentioned the last meeting, December 7th, that's a big one, National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. And a lot of us refer to it as a day of infamy, because that's what it was. The other military date is December 13th, which is the birthday of the National Guard. Thank you.
Magistrate Tice.
Since we're talking about the holiday season, I think this Saturday is Light Up LaGrange. So I don't think that's been brought up. So be sure to participate in that. I think it starts about 3 o'clock and goes up through the evening. So Light Up LaGrange is on Saturday. That's all I have.
Probably won't light up till dark though, right?
Huh?
Until about 6 o'clock, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, the festivities, I think, is starting a little early. Excuse me, yes.
I'm glad. Invite people to come to town. Magistrate Likens.
Thank you, Judge. Just want to say that when we get into these discussions where we all don't vote unanimous, that's what these discussions are for. I think it would be awfully hard for me to set my budget for an entire year and make no changes in that entire year. So it is up to all of the Finance Committee does. As the committee I serve on also, we make recommendations to Fiscal Court to where all 9 of us vote on any particular issue. So I kind of like the rebuttals and the differences of opinion, and that's the reason we don't have 1 magistrate sitting up here. We have 8. But I just wanted to also say on Pearl Harbor Day, I had the county attorney look this up. There's 2,403 individual live people that did not make it out of that. So we need to respect that and remember it.
All right, thank you. I'd like to, on behalf of Oldham County Fiscal Court and the people of Oldham County, congratulate Andy Bashir on his election as governor of the state of Kentucky. There will be an inaugural ceremony at 2 p.m. Next Tuesday, a week from today, at the state capitol. During the morning, there will be a parade beginning at 10 o'clock. And I do have the parade route here for the magistrates who may like to attend the parade. There's quite a few places where it says don't park, so I don't know what that means, but may mean some walking involved. But the last that I was told or informed was that the North Oldham High School Band would be participating in the inaugural parade, so I hope that is still the case. We'd certainly like a representative group from Oldham County to be associated with it. And the magistrates are concerned, the Kentucky Council of Area Development Districts will be hosting a reception there from 8:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. on 501 Capitol Avenue. So if anybody'd like that address, I have that here for you. So again, congratulations and best wishes to Governor Bashir. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Judge, could I make one footnote to Mr. Likens, Magistrate Likens' comment? What I found on here, there were 2,335 people killed at Pearl Harbor. But the more startling number is that 1,177 of them were from the USS Arizona. One ship, almost 1,200 people. That's an astounding number.
Right, and it happened a long time ago, but it cannot be forgotten and never be forgotten. Is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there a second? Okay, all right,
See if we get the second in there. What was I gonna ask you? You just said something, and I'm trying to think. Oh, that's what it was. Oh, okay. Are you pretty sure he's on site?